And now, for a moment of clarity.
I just think fundamentally, this requires something that I think each of us as individuals and institutions are going to have to reach deep down inside and pull out. At the end of the day, I love this visual of, the barbarians at the gate. But this is worse than barbarians.
You would really like the beginning of this piece where Ellie says that Democrats are like the varsity chess team being told it's their time to start the football game.
Lord, accurate.
So accurate.
What? But Michael.
Yes.
What are what would you have us do?
I would actually, you know what? I'd just like you to show that you give a damn. That you got a little emotion about the fact that people are losing their jobs indiscriminately. Mm-hmm. That this individual sitting down at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue has given absolute power to one man who brings his son into the Oval Office, whose son says to him, "You're not the president. You shouldn't be in that chair." Now, where did he get that from? He got it from his daddy. Because that's what his daddy thinks of the man who brought him into the Oval Office. So I just like to see somebody wake the hell up and get excited about the fact that your country is under assault. They're not at the gate anymore. They're in your bedrooms. They're in your living rooms. They're in your businesses. They got your data, dumbass. They got all your stuff. Elon Musk has his tentacles in everything you're doing, not just off of X, but now he's in the Treasury Department. He's in the Labor Department. He's in the Department of Homeland Security. And nobody seems to give a damn. So that's all I want, somebody to show that they care enough to get off their fat ass and say something about it.
But let's be honest, they're going to have to be Republicans who then ultimately.
Oh, the hell with Republicans. They're not going to do anything. They're the problem.
But from a numbers perspective, my point is if you actually want any real accountability, it's like you've seen, we had Jemmy Raskin on last weekend. He's talking about sort of this novel legal theory, and he was asked, are you willing to bring articles of impeachment yet again to President Trump? And he said, you find me 2 or 3 Republicans, and then we actually have a conversation. But that's
a ballot box thing. So what's the strategy to get those people who are strip mining our federal bureaucracy, who are stripping away your rights? How do they keep their seats?
It hasn't even been a month.
Thank you.
So we are supposed to wait until the midterm elections. I'm not
saying wait till the midterm elections.
Well, I guess what I am saying is, and I know they told me I got 30 seconds, but like I used to not be one of those people that were like, people are like, oh, we're not going to have elections in 4 years. I'm like, y'all got to chill out. I am thoroughly concerned about how we survive. And it just makes me think about this movie that I saw on the plane a couple months ago, Civil War. It wasn't necessarily great, but I know we gotta go, but in the movie Civil War, like all hell was breaking loose in Washington, D.C. and in places all across the country. And there were people in the middle of the country that were just living their lives like nothing was happening. I think that is actually where we are. And there are going to be a lot of people that are going to continue to just go on about their daily lives as though Rome is not burning.
Yep.
And then Tulsi Gabbard, I know Tulsi Gabbard, okay?
All right.
I've traveled with Tulsi Gabbard. She's not the one y'all want.
I think we just leave that right there because that says it all. Well, look, none of them are the ones we want, but they are the ones Donald Trump wants, and he's now got them. And the Republicans abdicated their advise and consent role because they figured capitulation was safer than actually doing the constitutionally mandated.
Safer to themselves.
Safer to themselves, because that's at the end game. Because they don't want the heat from Donald Trump. You know, the heat from the American people, the heat the Constitution puts on, the pressure the Constitution puts on them to do the right thing. You know, I got some folks who, blew back on me yesterday when I said the hell was Republicans, and I said it for a reason. And this is an example of the reason. Because when you abdicate the things that the party once stood for and held up as a standard to all others, and held them to that standard that they then now tear up because one man with orange skin and fake hair is sitting downtown telling them what to do, how high to jump, what hoops to jump through, They value that more than the words written on parchment 248 years ago.
You know, it's so crazy because I think people hear Michael Steele and they're like, well, of course, he's with the Democrats now. But I want y'all to know, because I listen to Michael Steele
Lord,
every
here we go.
weekend. He is a real Republican.
Here we go.
He is a real Republican. And frankly, he's still a Republican, Alicia. He's just not a Trumper. Okay, but he's a Republican, okay, who understands that he's a black man in America. But very much so a Republican.
Very much so.
And so you stand for those conservative values and the things.
I would love for us to sit around this table and for you guys to come after me on big policy differences that we may have in the approach to solving problems.
We have
You're so quaint.
Because, right?
How cute.
That's right, exactly. I can't wait for that day. But that's not the discussion we're engaged in right now. And this is where everyone has to recognize that the labels don't mean jack. They're using the labels against your interest, your self-interest in the country. And they're making you feel that if you're part of their tribe, that's better than being with the country, than being with the democracy and the Constitution that they're trying to tear up. Because Donald Trump wants it rewritten, and he's rewriting it live every day through the actions of this fake agency called DOGE, through the implementations of that by one man known as Elon Musk, whose son, just go back and listen to what his son had to say about Donald Trump. Not about him, but to him. And that should tell you, and the fact, next time you're in the Oval Office, Elon Musk, take your damn hat off. Show some respect. If you're going after waste, fraud, and abuse, and we've been doing putting those three words together for over 50 years, right? Every administration, Republican, Democrat, every Congress, Republican or Democrat, from Nancy Pelosi as majority leader to John Boehner, Newt Gingrich, everybody's going to tackle waste, fraud, and abuse. There is a way to do this in which you are systematically looking at programs and you're looking at departments and you're saying, we got these EFTs that we don't need. They're not filled. There's nobody in this job right now, hasn't been in this job for...
That is waste.
That's waste. So let's either eliminate that position or consolidate it. That's what DOGE is supposed to be doing. But oh no, folks. What they're starting with DEI, a very specific criteria. You either touch it directly or even indirectly. But it gets even better in the Washington Post story.
The veterans?
Yes.
Yes.
Go there.
Among the groups targeted are a Veterans Affairs office that works to ensure all veterans receive equal access to care, and an office within Health and Human Services that provides information about the health of minority populations.
So veterans of DEI.
What authority are these coders and these young people, these aides that work for Elon Musk, do they have to fire people? Like, this is, I would like the noodle-spined Republicans that serve in the United States Senate and the Congress to do something, to speak up, to say something. This is a purge of dedicated public service from our federal government.
The thing,
a purge.
But the ultimate takeaway here, folks, to understand is that do you really think the purge stops with federal employees?
Come on.
You really think that's where this ends? That this stops at federal employees? When you've got the media apparatus sitting there, you've already seen the assault now on the sort of cultural nonprofit. Oh, Donald Trump is down the head of the Kennedy Center, right? As President of the United States, purging the culture through the arts. So if y'all just get comfortable thinking, well, that's just a federal employee and I'm not a federal employee, think again.
Catch Michael Steele on The Weekend, Saturdays and Sundays, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on MSNBC.